It starts with handcuffs. You're face down on the hood of your car in a parking garage. Two federal agents twisting your arms behind your back. They found the shipment, 40 kilos of cocaine in a hidden compartment of a truck you thought was clean. You're looking at 25 years minimum federal time, no parole. You're 32 years old and your life is over. They take you to a room with no windows, a metal table, 2 chairs. They leave you there for 6 hours. No water, no bathroom, just you and the fluorescent light buzzing overhead. When they finally come back, there's a woman with them. She's wearing a gray suit and she has a folder with your name on it. She knows everything, every shipment you've moved for the past 5 years, every meeting, every phone call. She has photographs of you with people whose names you're not supposed to know. She lays it all out like a poker hand. You're dead, she says. Not literally, not yet, but your life as you know it is finished unless you want to make a deal. The deal is simple. You go back to work like nothing happened. You keep moving product, keep taking meetings, keep doing exactly what you've been doing, but now you're wearing a wire. Now you're taking photographs. Now every conversation you have is being recorded and transcribed by a team of FBI analysts. You become a confidential informant. CI 7734, that's your new name, not your real name, never your real name. If anyone finds out what you are, you're dead within the hour. Not prison dead, real dead. The kind where they find pieces of you in 3 different states. Your first assignment is small, a meeting with a mid-level distributor named Carlos. You've worked with him for years. He trusts you. The FBI wants to know who his supplier is. You meet him at a restaurant, the same place you always meet. You're wearing a wire taped to your chest. It's a small device, no bigger than a quarter, but it feels like a flashing neon sign. You're sure everyone can see it? You're sweating through your shirt? Carlos asks if you're okay. You tell him you're coming down with something. He laughs and slides a piece of paper across the table, an address, a time, the next shipment. You take the paper and you feel like Judas. The FBI is happy. They got what they needed. Carlos gets arrested 2 weeks later. He'll do 15 years. You tell yourself he deserved it. You tell yourself he would have done the same to you. You almost believe it. The agents take you to a new room, same fluorescent lights, different folder. They want more. They always want more. Carlos was just the appetizer. They want the main course. They want the man who runs the entire operation in the city. They want Miguel Reyes. Miguel Reyes is not a man you betray. He's not a man anyone betrays. The last person who tried was found in an oil drum dissolved in acid. They identified him by his dental records. You've met Miguel twice, both times at parties he throws at his compound outside the city. He's charming. He's generous. He remembers your name, asks about your family, gives you expensive gifts. He's also responsible for more deaths than you can count. The FBI wants you to get close to him. They want you to become his friend. It takes months. You work your way up, prove your reliability, move bigger shipments without asking questions. You never wear a wire to meet Miguel. He has people who scan for that. Instead, you memorize everything: faces, names, numbers, locations. You go home and write it all down in a notebook that you hide in a fake electrical outlet. Every week, you meet your handler in a parking lot or a hotel room or a hiking trail, somewhere different every time. You hand over the notebook. She photographs every page. She asks questions. You answer. Then you go back to your other life, the one where you're a loyal soldier in Miguel Reyes's organization. The paranoia becomes your constant companion. You learn to read rooms. You notice when someone looks at you a second too long. You notice when a car follows you for more than 2 turns. You vary your routine. You take different routes to work. You check your car for GPS trackers every morning. You never use the same phone for more than a week. You sweep your apartment for bugs, even though you know you're the one who would plant them. You trust no one. You can't afford to trust anyone. A friend could be a test. A lover could be a trap. Every relationship is a calculation. The money is good. That's the sick part. You're making more money than you ever have from both sides. Miguel pays you for your loyalty. The FBI pays you for your betrayal. You have a nice apartment, a nice car, nice clothes. You look successful. You feel like you're rotting from the inside. You can't sleep without pills. You can't wake up without coffee and something stronger. You have nightmares about being found out. In the dreams, Miguel is always smiling, he's always holding a knife. Your handler's name is Agent Torres. You don't know if that's her real name, probably not. She's professional, cold, she never asks how you're feeling, she only asks what you've learned. But sometimes, late at night in hotel rooms that smell like disinfectant, she tells you that you're doing important work, that you're making a difference, that because of you, drugs aren't reaching schools, families aren't being destroyed. You want to believe her. You need to believe her, because if this isn't important, if this doesn't mean something, then you're just a rat, a snitch, the lowest thing a person can be in the world you inhabit. 2 years in, you're at one of Miguel's parties. It's his daughter's quinceañera. Hundreds of guests, a live band, enough food to feed an army. Miguel pulls you aside. He puts his arm around you like a father. "I've been watching you," he says. "You're loyal, you're smart, you don't ask questions. I need people like you." He hands you a drink. He tells you he's promoting you. You're going to be his eyes and ears in the organization. You're going to report directly to him. Anyone you think is disloyal, anyone you suspect of talking to the police, you tell him. He'll handle the rest. You realize what he's asking. He wants you to be his informant. He wants you to find people like you. The irony would be funny if it wasn't going to get you killed. You start feeding names to Miguel, people you know are clean, people who would never talk to the feds. You're protecting the innocent by sacrificing them to the monster. One of them, a guy named Eddie who ran a legitimate car wash as a front, disappears 3 weeks after you mention his name. Miguel thanks you for your good work. You go home and vomit until there's nothing left. Agent Torres tells you this is the cost of the mission. She says you're saving more people than you're hurting. She says the math works out. You stop trusting the math. 3 years in, the FBI is building a case. They have enough to take down Miguel and everyone around him. They have testimony, recordings, financial records, enough evidence to put dozens of people away for life. But they want more. They want the connection to the cartel in Mexico. They want the entire network. They need you to get closer. They need you to go to Mexico. The trip to Mexico is supposed to be routine. You're accompanying a shipment, making sure the handoff goes smoothly. But when you get there, something is wrong. The men who meet you aren't the usual contacts. They're soldiers, cartel soldiers with machine guns and dead eyes. They take your phone, they search you, they find nothing because there's nothing to find, but they're suspicious anyway. Someone talked, they say. Someone in the organization is a rat, they're questioning everyone. For 3 days, you sit in a room in a compound in the middle of nowhere, waiting to be interrogated, waiting to be killed. You think about your mother. You think about the life you could have had. You think about how stupid you were to ever take that first deal. On the 4th day, they let you go. Someone else confessed, someone who wasn't actually an informant but who cracked under the pressure and said whatever they wanted to hear. You watch them drag him away. You hear the gunshot an hour later. You fly back to the States and you tell Agent Torres you're done. You can't do this anymore. She reminds you of the terms of your agreement. If you stop cooperating, the deal is off. 25 years, federal time, no parole. You're trapped between 2 prisons. 4 years in, Miguel trusts you completely now. You're in the inner circle. You attend meetings where they discuss things that would make the news. You know about shipments before they happen. You know about murders before they're committed. You can't stop them. If you warn the targets, you expose yourself. If you tell the FBI, they might act too fast and blow your cover. So you watch people die. You watch families get destroyed. You tell yourself you're building a case that will end all of this. You tell yourself it's worth it. You're not sure anymore. The unraveling starts with the phone. One of Miguel's lieutenants finds a burner phone in the car of a suspected informant. The phone has a number in the call history, a number that traces back to a voicemail box that traces back to an FBI field office. It's not your phone, it's not your voicemail, but suddenly, everyone is paranoid. Miguel orders sweeps of all his people, polygraphs, interrogations. You pass the polygraph because you've been trained to pass polygraphs. You control your breathing, you believe your own lies, but others don't pass. People start disappearing. Some of them are probably informants. Some of them are just unlucky. You realize you might be next. Agent Torres pulls you out, emergency extraction. You don't go home, you don't pack a bag, you just get in a car and drive. They take you to a safe house in another state, a bare apartment with bars on the windows and a U.S. Marshal sitting in the kitchen. You're in witness protection now, or the beginning of it. The trial hasn't happened yet. You're going to testify against Miguel Reyes and everyone in his organization. You're going to sit in a courtroom and point at men who will spend the rest of their lives wanting you dead. The trial takes 18 months, delays, motions, appeals. You live in safe houses. You move every few weeks. You can't contact anyone from your old life. Your mother thinks you're dead. That's what the FBI told her. It's safer that way. You watch the news and see your own face, not your real face, an artist's sketch, the mystery informant, the rat who brought down the Reyes organization. They don't know your name, not yet, but they're looking. Miguel's people are spending millions trying to find you. There's a bounty on your head, $5 million, dead only. They don't want you alive. You testify in a closed courtroom, video link from an undisclosed location. Your face is blurred, your voice is altered. You tell the truth for the first time in 5 years. You describe the murders, the shipments, the corruption. You name names, dozens of them. Some of the men you're testifying against were your friends. Some of them saved your life. None of that matters now. The math works out, Agent Torres told you. You're not sure who the math works out for. Miguel gets life without parole. 47 other defendants get various sentences. The organization is dismantled. It's the biggest RICO case in the state's history. Agent Torres calls you a hero. The U.S. Marshals give you a new identity, a new name, new social security number, new birth certificate. You move to a town you've never heard of. You get a job at a hardware store. You rent a small house with a lawn that you mow on Sundays. You're safe. That's what they tell you. You're safe now. But you don't feel safe. You never feel safe. Every time a stranger looks at you, you wonder if they know. Every time a car slows down on your street, you check for exits. You have a go bag under your bed, old habits. You can't make friends because friends ask questions. You can't date because relationships require honesty. You're 38 years old and you're more alone than you've ever been. You saved your own life by destroying it. You brought down a criminal empire by becoming something you hate. You're a hero and a rat and a ghost. Sometimes late at night you think about the people you betrayed: Carlos, who trusted you; Eddie, who died because you said his name; the man in Mexico who confessed to crimes he didn't commit because you needed someone else to take the fall. You carry them with you. You'll carry them forever. That's the price of survival. That's the weight of the deal you made in a room with no windows when you chose 20 more years of this over 25 in a cell. Your handler calls every few months just checking in. She asks if you need anything. You tell her you're fine, you're always fine. You've learned to say the words without meaning them. She tells you you did the right thing. You protected your country. You saved lives. The math works out. You hang up the phone and sit in your empty house and listen to the silence. The math works out. You keep telling yourself that. Maybe one day you'll believe it. The bounty is still active, $5 million. It'll be active until the day you die. Every morning, you wake up and check the perimeter. Every night, you sleep with a gun under your pillow. You're free and you're imprisoned. You're alive and you're dead. You're the FBI's most wanted informant, and you'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, waiting for the knock on the door, waiting for the past to finally catch up with you. It always does. That's the one thing you learned in 5 years of living between two worlds. The past always catches up. You just don't know when. So you wait, you mow your lawn, you work at the hardware store, you watch the cars that slow down on your street, and you try not to think about the math.